Welcome, it's Denome, and welcome to this crypto update. Now, as you can see, the price of Bitcoin had a massive wick to the downside and also a massive recovery back to the upside. So we basically hit that 89K level, which I have been warning to you guys for a few weeks now. So for instance, here on January 3rd, I did say that it is likely that we go and basically fall below the trend line a little bit, 90K, 89K, something like that, to take out the liquidity below the trend line here. Why did I say that? The reason is because that is what Bitcoin likes to do. So for example, here you can see this was uh, the the range lows were right about here. We went below the range lows and then we had a recovery back to the upside. The same exact thing happened here. So here you can see this was the range low, but we fell below it and then we had a strong recovery back to the upside. And the same exact thing continues to happen all the time through the Bitcoin cycle, at least at this cycle here. So this was to be expected, and that is exactly what happened. So hopefully you guys got in on this price action here. You got some good entries there, and I hope you didn't get stopped out on that move. Now, in the short term, I do expect more upside, but there's some caveats because right now we know the big event that everybody is waiting for is when Donald Trump takes office in 6 days from now. Depending on his first day one action, day two action, the markets will have a strong reaction regardless. Most likely, the markets will pump from the whatever gets announced by Donald Trump, but there is a chance that he somehow fumbles the ball and makes some policy changes that people don't like, especially the markets, and the markets fall to the downside. But I do believe the risk to reward ratio is better betting on the upside, at least for until the end of February. Now that is the short analysis that I can give you guys, but in this video I will take a look at the fundamentals, the news, and we will take a look at the technical analysis in deeper terms to basically determine where we think the price will go next. Now first off, let's talk about the news here. But before we go there, I just want to remind you guys that this video is sponsored by Bybit, and they currently have a 500 USDT position airdrop campaign. You simply have to sign up using my affiliate link. Click this register to claim button, do the tasks, and then you are eligible for this 500 USDT. Also, when you sign up, you can get 10% discount for your first 30 days and up to $30,000 in welcome rewards. When you sign up to Bybit, you can long, you can short, you can copy trade, you can do bot trading, and you can use demo trading account as well, so you don't have to risk your own capital when you learn to trade. Now, if you are a newcomer and you don't know how to use leverage, I recommend do not use leverage on your first days or even your first year. Do leverage trading only after you have some experience, and demo trading account on bybit.com, in my opinion, is the best demo trading account on any exchange. Now, going back to the news here. The number one news is that we have companies buying more Bitcoin. So for instance, Semler Scientific, they have acquired $23 million worth of Bitcoin here. Then we saw MicroStrategy, they bought another $243 million worth of Bitcoin at the average price of $96,000. Also, a Hong Kong company called Mingxin Group, they have bought 500 Bitcoin, which is worth roughly $47 million in USD. Then at the same time, we have Tether USDT. They are relocating to El Salvador. And this is not necessarily a good news, but it is good news. So let me explain. Tether, a lot of people have speculation that they are not really fully backed because their company, I think it was in I forgot the name of the island, but Cayman Island. I think they are in Cayman Islands, and now they have found home in El Salvador. So as long as El Salvador basically gives them legal immunity and they host the company there, that will be good for us, because if there is a legal action against Tether, Tether is the biggest stablecoin on the market. They have more than $100 billion worth of stablecoins. If they get taken down, our bags will completely fall flat. So for our bag's sake, this at least is not bearish. So in the long run, this is, in my opinion, quite bullish for us, but it doesn't necessarily reflect in the price. It just maybe gives you more confidence that maybe we will not get rug pulled anytime soon. So anyway, that is happening there. Next up, and this is very, very important, and I don't think the markets really have priced this in. So Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary, he has disclosed that he owns $500,000 worth of Bitcoin through BlackRock's ETF. So he most likely wants to pump his bags. So he will probably do quantitative easing to stimulate the markets quite fast. And when he does that, his bags of Bitcoin go up in price as well. So he has a monetary incentive to basically pump Bitcoin to the upside, which is very, very good. And people really don't understand when if and when United States actually implements the Bitcoin strategic reserve, how nuts people will go to scramble into Bitcoin, because we haven't had that phase of the bull run yet. We haven't had the phase of the bull run yet that people are betting on Bitcoin for any price. They are like, I don't care what the price is right now. I just want to get Bitcoin because it will go to the fucking moon. We haven't had that phase of the bull run yet, but we might have it. It's not guaranteed, but it is likely that we will end up having it whenever they do announce that they implement the Bitcoin strategic reserve and they implement a buying plan for Bitcoin in behalf of United States government. Now, next piece of news is Value. This is a company that I have used to analyze the ETF inflows and outflows. They have actually secured $15 million funding in Series A campaign. Now the valuation is at $200 million. The reason I'm saying this is that they have an active airdrop campaign going on right now, which I have shared before December already. And on socialvalue.com, you can create an account here. There's a link in the description. If you use my affiliate code, you will get bonus points for your airdrop allocation. But here you can see, for example, here is the chart for ETF inflows and outflows in the United States. So on Friday, we saw $150 million worth of outflows, but unfortunately, we saw another almost $300 million of outflows on Monday yesterday. So at least for now, ETFs in the United States have been on the sell side for the last 3 market days. So I hope this turns around. The good news, however, is when we take a look at global ETFs, global Bitcoin funds, they have actually accumulated more Bitcoin throughout last week. Unfortunately, we do not have the latest number on this chart from Monday, but last week, we saw a lot of inflows into global Bitcoin funds. So even though Bitcoin funds in the United States have been a little bit more bearish, globally, there has been a lot of accumulation of Bitcoin during this time. So fundamentally, this is still solid, even though I would like to see more inflows in the United States ETFs as well. But there's plenty of other charts here to look at as well. If you want to participate in the airdrop, the tasks take you about 10 minutes per day, and then you will kind of increase your allocation. And the best part is that you don't have to invest any money here to get an allocation eventually. So anyway, that's the social value situation there. Now, going back to the, before we go back to the charts, let me give you a quick short-term analysis here as well, fundamentally. And first, let's take a look at Bitcoin liquidation heat map. So this chart here shows us areas where shorts and longs will get liquidated. And as you can see here, we had a lot of longs that got liquidated when the price fell down to 89K, and then we had that recovery. But right now, most of the liquidity is above 96K, basically going all the way to 100K. So this liquidity zone here is very likely to be tapped by whales. So keep that in mind. Up to 100K, this looks like a very, very beautiful zone to liquidate longs. And that's in the 2-week view. If you take a look at different time frames, there may be some variance, but this is this is the area where currently there's a lot of liquidity for whatever reason. Even though fundamentally Bitcoin looks extremely good, people are still bearish. So this is the situation here. Also, when we take a look at aggregated order book liquidity delta chart, this shows us difference in limit buy orders, limit sell orders at any given time when the price is going up and down. So I shared this chart on X. I shared this also on Discord, which is, by the way, the free group that anybody can join. There's a link in the description. At 90K, I said buyers are active again. Usually when you see massive spikes here, that shows us that the local bottom is near, and that's exactly basically where we had the bounce from. Right now, unfortunately, this is turning red, signaling that we might actually head a little bit lower before we head back to the upside to basically have a small breather before we go back to the upside here. Now, one more thing that I want to share before we go to the charts is on sentiment.net. And Sentiment, they are also helping out my channel. So if you want to get access to Sentiment, there's a link somewhere in the description as well. Number one thing, supply on exchanges. This has gone sideways from 7th of January. So basically for a week, no clear changes here. And then on stablecoin market cap, you can see, unfortunately, for the last month, practically exactly 30 days, we haven't seen any uh, increases or decreases in stablecoin inflows and outflows. So the amount of market cap in stablecoins has been steady for a month now. Hopefully, we will start seeing more mints of stablecoins, but at least it's not trending to the downside, kind of signaling that maybe this isn't the top yet. But obviously, we want this to trend to the upside for our bags to go up as well. But the good thing here is this. So when we take a look at old wallets, wallets that have held Bitcoin for more than 90 days, more than 1 year, and more than 3 years, practically all of these wallets have stopped moving their Bitcoin after the year change to 2025. So for the last 2 weeks, we haven't really seen any activity from old wallets anymore. And this is signaling to me that either they've already all taken profit and they are just waiting for more downside before they become active again, or they've done their accumulation and they are now waiting for upside. In either case, fundamentally speaking, this is good because at least they have stopped selling. So at least they've done that. So now it is the question of where will we get new buyers? That is the question. If and when buying is exceeding selling, that's when price goes up. So if selling has stopped, then it would be natural to think that we will head higher soon. So this is quite good to see. The same thing can basically be seen here when we take a look at Bitcoin supply distribution. For the last month, almost all of these charts have gone flat, just signaling that people do not want to sell their Bitcoin. They don't really want to buy Bitcoin. So most likely people are just waiting for Trump to take office. And after he takes office and whatever he implements on day 1 and 2, then they will react to it once again. So this is a little bit annoying, but I understand why people are doing this. But anyway, this is the situation there. Now, taking all of this in, what do I think of Bitcoin price action in the short term? Well, first off, there is a new trend line here to look at, and it's this one here. So this is currently the range where Bitcoin is trading, and this is looking like, obviously, it's a descending trend, but sometimes you cannot really say, but basically depending on when Trump takes office and what he implements, this will break to the upside or to the downside, this trend here. And right now, what I do expect basically for the next week is 1 or 2 scenarios. First, we go to that 100K. We take out all of the liquidity like I showed you. All of the shorts get liquidated here. And from 100K, we head back to the downside. And it usually, when you see wicks like this, it is likely that we go about halfway of the wick and then we continue to the upside. So for example, here you saw this massive wick to the downside. We basically went halfway of the wick and then we continued the march to the upside. Sometimes the wick gets, we basically go almost to the full extent of the wick, we go fill that liquidity there, but usually, or sometimes we get that 50% of the wick filled before heading to the upside. So that's why basically 92K price level, that is roughly the local bottom that I will be expecting in the short term. I don't know which happens first. We go to 100K first, or we go to 92K first, but I don't really expect this 89K price level to be uh, overtaken. If it will get overtaken, then the basically the absolute low that I can see is like 87K. But maybe it will not go from there. Sorry, I'll take these out. So maybe if we go there, that should happen quite soon. 87K, something like this, because that would coincide with this liquidity zone here. If we go below 87K, that will be quite annoying because the next liquidity zone is practically between 78K and 80K, right about here. And the reason why I'm saying 78 to 80K is because there's a massive CME futures gap between 78 and 80K. So to go there, that's where a lot of algorithmic bots, institutional bot traders, they will initiate trades during in this zone here because of that gap. So that would be like an extreme low. If we go there, that's a sign to go heavily long in Bitcoin on that price level. But it's very, very hard to see that we would go that low because Donald Trump is taking office in just weeks, in 1 week, and practically it's his game. What I do believe will happen is that when he takes office, the bull market will actually resume. We get out of this zone here and we go to 150K very, very fast, practically within a month. So I do expect a cycle top in February of this year. And obviously, I will have to take it from there because there will be a lot of policy changes depending on how fast they will react to the markets. The most scary part of the markets to me is the lack of liquidity. So we know stock markets are at all-time highs, crypto markets are at all-time highs, but when we take a look at global liquidity, the all-time highs were already here and at the end of September, beginning of October, and we have gone down from here 4.5%. That is mostly due to the fact that the USD has been strengthening during this time, but also because we haven't seen massive money printing, massive quantitative easing yet. So Donald Trump, if he wants to avoid a market crash, he will have to inflate the markets. But if he doesn't do that, then we're headed for a deflationary crash, which will be bad for all markets. But obviously, if he implements the Bitcoin strategic reserve, that completely changes the fundamentals of Bitcoin as well. So really, it is completely Donald Trump's game. So if you want to play this absolutely safely, you do not have any bets right now. You simply wait until Donald Trump takes office, wait for 1 to 2 days, and then decide if the fundamentals on that day are bullish or bearish. But right now, it's basically anybody's game. On the RSI level, which is the momentum indicator, we have been trending to the downside. Now we're in the midway of this channel. When Trump takes office, when we see a breakout here, that would be a signal to basically that the markets are ready to basically resume. I'm here practically just bottom fishing, but the bottom could go lower in the short term within the next week. But I do believe markets will just flip bullish in a very, very a few days before Trump takes office, and from there we just go up. That's my expectation. Now I can be completely wrong here, and we've already seen the cycle top, and Donald Trump simply fumbles the ball on the markets, and everybody crashes. So that's the risk we are currently taking, but this is the situation of the markets. I hope you got some value out of this video. If you like this content, consider using the links in the description and consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks and bye bye.